Hi, this is Ingrid from Quiltessential Co, and we are going to be doing our February block of the month 2021. Before we start that, I just wanted to show you a little project that I really enjoyed making. And this is the Piecekeeper Project Bag. We do have these kits that comes with the pattern on our website in different colors, so you can do it with a sewing theme, a craft theme, or Tula Pink. All really cute. But it's really nice to put your rulers that you use for block of the month and your blocks in there all the time, and your coupon and any notes, and then you can keep it all together. I use mine for any projects that I want to do and put patterns in there too. So this is our block, and we're going to go and get cutting. Now we're going to start cutting out our block. And as before, it's quite simple because we're just cutting out squares and rectangles. Here's A, 4 squares, B, 4 rectangles, and then you've got 1 C. When you do your D and E, place these right sides together like this and cut them into one strip. And then they're ready to sew in a minute. And then this is your F, 4 little squares. And now we're going to sew. So first of all, we're going to take our A's, and as last time, we need to press them on the diagonal. When you do press, always start with your iron at the tip, hold that nice and neatly together, and press back towards that fold, and it will make a neater line. And now we're going to cut them, and we're using our kitty quarter ruler like before, and we're using step 1. So we're going to put step 1 right on the edge of that folded A triangle. Line up your nice diagonal line here and cut this piece off. And you will do that to all of them. I'm just going to do it to 2 so that you can see how it works. So just put it on the diagonal and cut. So you end up with the A, and these are unit A's, and they're also made out of your A fabric. Not trying to complicate anything here. When you do your B's, they must be stacked right sides together. So here are your B's, and they're stacked right sides together. And you are going to turn your kitty corner ruler. We were step 1 before. Turn it so that we're now at step 2, and you're going to align your B's with the cutting edge of step 2 on your ruler. And just follow along with your instructions as you're doing this, and it will make a lot of sense. Typically what I do is as soon as I cut them, I just take my ruler, put it to the side, and do the clipping of the B just like it asks you to do right here, so that they're nice and ready for sewing. So just align that B little corner there and clip. So now when we are going to sew, you will have 2 sections, and they're going to line up so that you have your 2 sections of A and B units, and we're going to sew them together. Remember, when you sew them together, I usually start actually on this side. Make sure that you line up your blunt end here and just go from the wide end down. Always wide side to wide side, and blunt end, sew it straight down, press it back, and then you're going to come and do the other side. And it's the same thing. You will align up your blunt end, wide end with wide, sew down here, press it back. And I'll meet you back after I've sewn them. So when you're trimming up, make sure you start with trim 1 and then trim 2. And there's a tiny little triangle right in here. That's what you want to get right inside of your V. So you can see that even if your block is a little messy to start with, it's going to look beautiful when you've trimmed it up. So you're going to put that little V right in the V of your block. Now look at the other corner and tip your ruler around so that the diagonal line goes straight through the corner here. So you want it right in the corner. V in here, diagonal corner down here. And for first trim, you're just taking off side and the top. Remember, if you're left-handed, to turn your ruler around and your block around and do it from this side instead. So you trim this way and this way. Now you turn your block around and you're going to do trim 2. And with trim 2, you are going to put your 3-inch line right on here, right on here. You've got this all lined up. You can see that that diagonal is right on the little bit left over of your iron crease, and you trim up the other 2 sides. So you're going to do these to all 4 of your blocks, and you will end up with lovely AB units like this. You'll get 4 of those. Now remember when we cut out D and E before, I said to you place them right sides together so they're ready for the next step. All I'm doing is sewing 1/4 inch all the way down here on the long side and press to the dark side. And now we're going to cut those into units, and we're going to cut those into 4 3.5-inch units. So just take your ruler, 3.5, and keep going, and you're just going to cut those into little units. Now we're doing the center, and center you need C, and you're going to need your little F squares. If you're doing it the traditional method, you would press these back on a line or draw a diagonal line on here, place them on here, sew on the line, and then trim behind, press, etc. But if you have the folded corner clipper, it goes a lot faster. So take the 1.5-inch line, put your F square down on C, 1.5 right on the corner, trim it off so you have a nice sewing line. And I usually do my 2 opposite corners first, and then I'll do my other 2 opposite corners. And when they're sewn, you will have a little mini snowball block. So at the end, we're going to put this all together. Here are AB units. Here's our D and E that we put together, that we sewed out of our strip, cut them into 3.5 units. Here's our C with our tiny little F pieces in the middle. When you sew this together into a quilt, it makes a beautiful optical illusion, as you'll see in your pattern. And for more notes, always read the top of the pattern every month. So for those of you who were in Block of the Month last year, so that was 2020, our finishing booklet for designs and our finishing fabrics will be available at the end of the month. For all those details, please look at your February instructions at the top of the page, and you'll see a whole bunch of notes about that so that you can get ready to finish up your last year's Block of the Month. And well, guys, if you found this video useful, please leave us a like and click subscribe for future content. And this has been Ingrid from Quiltessential Co, and thanks for sewing with me today. See you again soon.